Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep person. But they use Allah, what they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep person. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep person. Salam alaikum, alaikum wassalami. Salam alaikum, say na place now we want. But no be Muslim, it's not a Christian. And we're there for Bible, make we kill ourselves. Salam alaikum, alaikum wassalami. Salam alaikum, say na place now we want. But no be Christian, it's not a Muslim. And we're there for Quran, make we bump ourselves. They come from Shah, they want on with terrorists. Come from Niger, they want on with terrorists. Every day by day, them are bombing our schools, killing our youth. Say we know they happy. No, they use Allah, what could they keep people? Allah is great, you know they keep person. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep person. No, they use Allah, what could they keep people? Allah is great, you know they keep person. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep person. Prophet Muhammad is the road to Allah. Prophet Muhammad no they keep for Allah. In the preach peace to the unbelievers, change your ways and turn to Allah. Prophet Muhammad is the road to Allah. Prophet Muhammad no they keep for Allah. In the preach peace to the unbelievers, they can change our ways and turn to Allah. The wages of sin, say my brother not dead. The wages of sin, say my sister not dead. Repent and have eternal life. Make you feel back our guests. Now we know they happy. No, they use Allah, what could they keep people? Allah is great, you know they keep person. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep person. No, they use Allah, what could they keep people? Allah is great, you know they keep person. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep person. No, they use Allah, what could they keep people? Allah is great, you know they keep person. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep person. No, they use Allah, what could they keep people? Allah is great, you know they keep person. Go around them, they preach peace to the unbelievers. They can change our ways and turn to Allah. The wages of sin, say my brother not dead. The wages of sin, say my sister not dead. Repent and have eternal life. Make you feel back our guests. Now we know they happy. No, they use Allah, what could they keep people? Allah is great, you know they keep person. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep person. No, they use Allah, what could they keep people? Allah is great, you know they keep person. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep person. No, they use Allah, what could they keep people? Allah is great, you know they keep person. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep person. No, they use Allah, what could they keep people? Allah is great, you know they keep person. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep.
Hello, my people. My name is Temitope Olodo, and I'm so pleased and honored, to have you here with me today. As mentioned earlier, my name is Temitope Olodo, and I have with me my guest in the house. So if you're watching me right now, I want you to like this page, I want you to share this page, and I want you to let me know whether you like that video. I like it because, we're talking about counter narrative against, some of the very brutal things that are happening in Nigeria as we speak. I have with me the great pleasure and honor to have with me Professor Ali Alao live with me today, watching, and thank you so much for joining me, sir. Right from the city of Abuja. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me. Not only that, I also have with me the barrister in the house, Barrister Adebola is with us. Thank you so much for for the great work you are doing. We really appreciate you. And I thank you, my viewers, as you are watching me. Thank you, Mr. John. I can see people are watching both on Facebook, they're watching on LinkedIn, they're watching on YouTube, and they're watching also on Twitter. So share that page, and we might play that video again. But before I will go into the real discussion, the real meat of our conversation today, I want to more or less. I'm not a troubleshooter. You know me. You know I'm a very gentle person, but it's always good to highlight some of the things that have happened over the week. One of the things I would like to do is to share a video right now, and I want us to talk about it because I've noticed, which is very strange, I've noticed a bit of a brutality. What happened in the southeast, where we saw police station being burnt down, and all those kind of rascality happening. We are now seeing it in southwest Nigeria, and I want to find out, is this a dominant issue that is happening? Is this a problem that we're going to be seeing more frequent? So watch this video, and then I'll ask my guest to make comment on it, and I want the viewers also to make comment on it, because I think this is very, very important, because we cannot allow this kind of brutality to continue. But please watch this video and let me know what you think about it.
Bọ́mọ́ olóríjọ bóṣe ọlọ́pàá orípẹ́sẹ̀ ọlọ́pàá lówó ọ̀nà ayẹ́fẹ́ bàjẹ́ sá bójọ òbò bolo tíra àlùjọ ẹbọ́lẹ̀ bàbá o ti bò tíra ẹbọ́lẹ̀ ẹbójọ ẹgbọ́.
It's now you see that video. It's important that I play that video, because you see, and you speak Yoruba, because for some of our speakers, our listeners that cannot speak Yoruba, I think it's good to even give the narrative. The man that was speaking with the language of the street, and he was saying, break the button, man, break it on the head of the policeman. And the guy was saying, that's a policeman. Say, yeah, can't you see that he's wearing a policeman uniform? In other words, he's the one that deserves that kind of punishment. Let me start with the man with the law, because this is important. Then I go to the man with the technology. Barrister Adebola, what is your view about this video? Please, because it's important to what is your view about this video and this man smashing a bottle on a man wearing a police uniform, the authority of the state, and nothing has happened.
It's unfortunate, as well as it is appalling to watch. What's the question that was going through my mind when I was watching it was that what have we become as a people? Because I grew up knowing fully well that it is not the man in the uniform that you respect, but the uniform. And the reason for that is simple. The uniform is a symbol of authority. That's why in those war years, most of the military officers, they used to have something like a stick that they hold. That again is another form of authority. But I'm afraid that is being seriously eroded. And I will liken this to, I have to be very frank here, because there's no point, holding my punches on this one now. This is a direct result of what happened during the NSAS. Some people with some warped agenda started the NSAS. What a lot of people argue that they have altruistic motives. I'm not going to argue about that, but where My problem lies with them was because I was in Nigeria when the NSAS thing happened. And I remembered few days after they started, when the federal government, all the 5 agitations that they put forward, the federal government, to the shock of everybody, agreed to all of it. And I remember saying to one of my friends, after a few days after that, and they were still on the street, and I was asking him, and I said, why are these guys still on the streets? You brought up five suggestions, 5 agitations, and the federal government said yes. Immediately, I think a day or 2 after that, they proscribed SARS, which was the main issue at the time. They proscribed SARS, and it said all the other 4 points, they've accepted it, and they will work on it. And I would have expected at the time that the agitation of the people behind the protest should at least suspend the protest. What I'm saying now is very controversial. Many people will not agree with it, but it has to be said because that is the angle that so many Nigerians are forgetting, or maybe trying to sideline. They want to sidetrack it. Everybody's trying to jump on the bandwagon. I don't jump on the bandwagon. I look at issues critically, and I make an informed decision on my own based on the issues that I see before me. Now, I was asking, why are they still on the streets? Because if you are agitating for something, and the person you are agitating against says, okay, all the agitations, I agree with it, I will look into it, and one of it was immediately acted upon, I think it behoves on the agitators to at least suspect. If they can say, okay, we'll give you 2 weeks to sort out this issue. If you don't, then we'll come back on the streets. But they did not do that. They stayed there. It was more or less like a jamboree at the Lekki, whatever it is, at the Lekki area where they were doing it. They did that. Then I think I saw it on TV. I was in Abuja on that day. When I saw it on TV, when some hoodlums went into town in Abuja and started burning cars. And that was when I think my missus was with me there, and I said to her, I said, look, these people, they have burnt their bridges, and that something will happen soon. It was as if I was being prophetic about it. A day later, the issue of soldiers going there came up, and we all know what happened. The claim of 78 people died and blah, 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 which has now been disputed. And again, one of the reasons why I'm saying this is because a panel was set up by Lagos State and some other states. As we speak now, certain people who has historical problem with the police brought their cases to the tribunal. Some of them they've been rewarded with 10 million, 5 million, 15 million now. We've never seen one person from the NSAS, from the Lekki, so-called Lekki massacre. None of them has come up, to make any claim, which again, brings up a whole lot of issues as to the authenticity of their claim at the time that there was a massacre at Lekki, which again, as we all know, even some of the international bodies now have now been coming to discredit it. Now, the reason why I made reference to that was because I want us to run a parallel between what happened then and especially what happened in the aftermath, where so many people went into town, killing policemen, even chopping the body of policemen and eating it. We all saw it on social media. That was where the demystification of our police started. And that is exactly what you've seen from the person who was narrating now, goading that guy that he should break that bottle on the man's head. To start with, when you look at the ages of the man whose head was broken with that bottle, the guy who did it, they're not age mates. And the fact that they are speaking Yoruba tells me that they are within Yoruba race. And I know that in Yoruba race, you dare not insult your elder, let alone breaking a bottle on his head. But that was exactly what we see happen now. So that was why I'm trying to make that parallel from there for us to see that maybe today it starts. It started sometime last year, and I guess perhaps maybe because certain people, some people were not brought to book. That was why this is happening now. This is where law and order comes in, because if there's a breakdown of law and order in any society, it becomes an all-comers game, which is what is happening now. And to me, it portends danger for the country, because if our policemen are no longer respected by an average citizen, then what happens if tomorrow something happens? I don't know, there's a chaos somewhere. The first person you would like to look forward to come and help you will be the police. So what happens then if, now that we've demystified them and we've made them a subject of ridicule, how then do you want to look up to that same organization to come and rescue you? This is where my problem is now. Because to people around that gentleman in that video, especially with the one goading him, I would expect the government to fish them out and make an example of them. Both the person who was instigating that boy and the boy that broke the balloon on the policeman guy. Because if we don't do that, that will be a child's play to what will continue to happen henceforth. This is my take on it, because it's completely uncalled for, and it's barbaric in my view. And as far as I'm concerned, it should not be something that we should be witnessing in this day and age in our community.
Okay, Prof. Let me go to you, Prof. Because you see, we've heard what Barrister has said. This should not be happening, but we know that this brutality is not just restricted to. It's not restricted to police officers alone. Even the military lost a lot of people in Benue State. This seems to be the order of the day. What is your view? And do you think the APC government is actually doing enough to stop the brutality of police officers? Because I'm going to show a video before you speak, because I think it's important to show this video and then you make your comment on it, because this will more or less explain exactly the kind of mindset that the Nigerian police are now having on issues to do with this. Please watch this video. Just give me a minute. Let's come up.
Start hitting me like this is very good. Right? I have face here and here. So even some people were even advising, leave this policeman alone. He insisted. I never even knew that camera is on. I only advised my boys, hey, don't touch this man. On that fateful day, on the 17th Saturday, April, I was on my way to my duty post. I saw a vehicle on one way. I asked my driver to stop. He stopped. I thought the vehicle, seeing the police vehicle, it would reverse back. He actually stopped, flashing us like to give me way to pass. So I said, what is happening? I have to come down myself. I said, sir, are you aware this is one way? The next thing is flew up. Say, and there. Is that why I'm blocking him not to pass? So that's how the whole genesis started. The next thing I saw, he had me on my chest, started hitting me against his vehicle. So I was actually armed. I know what the law says. We have rules and regulations gathering that arms. So before you can make use of your arm, we have Force Order 237, which empowers you to use that arm. So it has not got into that person, but I know. So that is how I only try to resist that temptation.
You can lose your job.
It's okay. Policeman. That's okay. Policeman.
My advice to my fellow policemen is to be very, very diligent to their duty, not to overreact in any situation they find themselves. So with what has happened to me, so how good Nigerians appreciate me, all police should as well emulate me. I love the job and the one I have at hand, so anytime I go out, I like to work and secure my job. Because outside nowadays, I know how it is. I feel so happy, I feel so excited. And I thank everybody, I thank my commander, Bayemi, Nanyika, for the advice you always give to us, which I discharged on that very day through the 2IC ROROS. So I thank all the good Nigerians for their contribution. When I saw comments coming from all good Nigerians, I now believe that actually if we the police behave well, at least the public people will still love us. So I was surprised today, this afternoon, that a group of people donated money amounting to one.
I think Prof has a connection has gone off. Well, let me speak to you, Barrister. You could see on the video, this is a policeman armed to the teeth. At that point, if the policeman decides to discharge his weapon, with that kind of violence, with the number of people around him, he can claim reasonable force at that point. But he said he will not even discharge his uniform. And I think good Nigerians is to say that there are Nigerians out there that are good Nigerians, that recognizes what has happened, and that assault on a police officer that is unbecoming, that is not allowed. And what they've done is even gathered money for him and even giving him award, just to at least let police officers know, we love you. These are just stupid elements in our midst who are causing all kind of havoc. It's unfortunate Prof is gone, but what do you have to say to the video? You saw the way the man now, number one, he was against the traffic rule because he was driving against the traffic rule. Policeman stops him, which is his right, and normally they should book him, give him a ticket, or even take him to the station. They'll just say, do you know you are driving against traffic? And that was and I've not heard anything about that man being arrested. That is what is getting me really angry. So please speak to that because I just feel, because I've been a police officer in the UK, I've walked on the street of Dartford, and I know that if I got slapped up like that, Jesus, a lot of things will happen in the UK. That place, we know that there is police force in the UK. Now look at what has just happened. This guy, we've not seen him being paraded. We've not seen anything happening to him. And this is exactly what we're talking about. That this kind of person should have been charged. It should have been speeding up within 24 hours. If it was London, it would be in the court. It would be paraded. It would be detained. And then it will be sentenced. And then the newspaper will flash it that this guy that slapped the police and got 3 years imprisonment, so that other people can see. And then the other guy, you also said the guy that took the video, and all of them are conspirators. It's an accessory to assault, isn't it? There's no reason for that. You could see the policeman being jacked to the neck, sir. There is no reason. There's reasonable force, sir. When you jack a policeman, his weapon is beside him, and anything can happen. You could put your hand by that weapon and shoot him. You can take his weapon. He can point that gun at you at that point to subdue you, even if he doesn't shoot it. But believe you me, if I'm the one with that weapon, I will discharge it. I'm telling you now. And then we'll go to court and go and talk about it. We are talking about what happened in America, where somebody puts a leg on somebody's neck for 72 for 8 minutes or whatever, and we are saying that it's wrong. Here, he has not even put his leg on any neck. He just said, sorry, sir, you are not meant to go to. He was even explaining how he did. They said, sir, if it's another police, if it was those brutal policemen, they would have landed him a slap before they even start having a conversation. So, sir, speak to this, and then we'll move to the next video.
First of all, I have to commend that police officer because he displayed real patience there, which until I saw that, I never knew that we have Nigerian police or any Nigerian man in uniform who will be that patient or be that cool in that kind of environment. I have to give it to him seriously, because he shows exemplary example of how real community policing is all about. That being said, I have to commend again Lagos State government for recognizing his professionalism, because that was what he displayed there was pure professionalism. There's no doubt about that. And for the state government to quickly recognize that, I commend them for that. But like you touched on a very vital point, which is that the guys who perpetrated that heinous crime on the policeman are still on the loose. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is if you notice, I don't know if you noticed that one of the guys was saying to him, "You will lose your job," which suggests to me that they kind of connected in a way. They probably know somebody high up there, which perhaps, now this is just a conjecture now, which perhaps explains why they have not been apprehended yet. Perhaps somebody somewhere high up there is shielding them, which again boils down to the crux of the problem in our society, where certain people feel that because of their position, they are above the law. And the system somehow allows them to get away with murder, practically. Because what that guy did for me, I don't expect him to sleep in his house that day. Because there was a video evidence to start with. That video evidence showed their faces. I would have expected all TV houses in Lagos and in Nigeria as a whole to be flashing it all over the network that we want these guys. Even put a bounty on their head. Because when you put a bounty on their head, somebody somewhere will definitely we should blow on them and make sure that the authorities get hold of them. But I don't see any of that being done. Maybe I'm not current on that issue, but I haven't seen anything of that done, because I believe strongly that if a bounty was put on their heads, or if pressure was mounted in the press about getting them, fishing them out and bringing them to book, something, because I'm sure this thing happened about a couple of days ago or something. But now we should have been reading in the press that these guys have now been apprehended. So for that not happening, again, it speaks of the decadence in our society, how low we have sunk in our moral value. Because to start with, you cannot be driving against the traffic, because what that means is they are putting other people's lives at risk. And I'll tell you one funny story. This is a personal one to me now. Many years ago, a friend of mine who we used to live here together, this guy schooled in America. He's a pilot. Now, he left America and came here. Between America and here, he must have spent about 5 to 6 years in diaspora before he now finally went back home. 2 years later, I went home to visit him in Lagos. We went to a party, and about 2 a.m. or so or thereabout, we were going home. Now, where we were holding the party was at the other end of the road, the other side of the road, which meant because it's a dual carriageway, we had to drive to the next roundabout to go and turn before we go back to his house. You know what my friend did? He was just driving straight against the traffic. And I shouted at him, and I'm like, "What do you think you're doing?" Because I was shocked that for somebody who has lived outside, because I said to him, I said, "Can you do this in the UK or in America?" And he said, "No worry, my friend. Will they go home?" And I'm like, at this time of the night, what? And again, in a road, on a road that has no street light, it's dimly lit. So any vehicle that has no headlamp, no headlight can be coming at us, and we wouldn't even know. So these are the kind of psyche of our people back home, which beggars believe sometimes. Again, I think what we need to do is to ensure, I guess, the authorities need to begin to come down hard on people seriously on issues like this, because this is just not on. This is not on. Honestly, it baffles me when I'm just watching that video. I think it's just by the grace, by divine grace, that the policeman was able to keep his cool and not shot at any of them. Because if he had done that, yeah, if he has a good lawyer, he will go scot-free, because it was clear that his life was in danger. That's no two ways to describe it, because first of all, he was outnumbered there, because I saw another woman there as well, which was probably maybe part of the entourage. So there are about 3 people against him alone. He was outnumbered, and he was being jacked For me, that is an assault on its own to start with. But then, with the scenario that I saw there, it is clear that his life was in danger. So if at any point he decided to use his gun, all he needs is just a good lawyer, right, to help him fight his case, and he will go scot-free. If that guy dies, so be it. So this is the kind of moral decadence that our society has become today. It's a shame. It's a shame, really, sir.
Thank you so much, and I'm happy that you've more or less shed a lot of light on that. We're going to go on a very quick short break, about 2-3 minutes short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about a controversial issue that is happening in Nigeria right now, and I want your opinion on it. One of the reasons I want your opinion on it is because of the discussion we had last week, which had generated a lot of conversation with regard to, people supporting terrorist group and what the position of the UK government will be on that. But let's quickly go on a short break. But while we go on that short break, let me pray, because people have been sending me message behind that we should play that video again. So let me just play that video and we'll go on the short break.
Sahara Productions. Though they use Allah, what to buy the key people. Allah is great, they keep passing. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, they keep passing. Though they use Allah, what to buy the key people. Allah is great, they keep passing. Go around them, they keep Salam alaikum, alaikum, wasalami. Salam alaikum, say na peace now we want. But no be Muslim, it's not a Christian. Now we're there for Bible, make we kill ourselves. Salam alaikum, alaikum, wasalami. Salam alaikum, say na peace now we want. But no be Christian, it's not a Muslim. Now we're there for Torah, make we bump ourselves.
You could see that I'm just dancing behind the scene, because I really love it. So I don't know why. I just love it, because these are the kind of things that our military should be doing a lot of work on. Ensuring that people are a different counter narrative is given about what Boko Haram and all those groups are. But yes, our professor is back online with us now. So let's go into the second segment, and this is a controversial one, and I'm going to start with Professor on this one, because although I should have started with my barrister because he speaks Hausa. Actually, maybe I might be starting with barrister because he speaks Hausa, and I'm just going to play this video for 2 seconds.
Kyautata zato zuwa ga jama'ar da suka buƙaci a yi tunatarwa akan wannan al'amari din. Babban abin da ya fara zuwa cikin tunani na zai iya yiwa na yi kuskuren tunani shine yan uwa ahlus sunna da suka bukata shine mutanen Taliban da suka rayu a Afghanistan. Allah ya jarrabi ahlus sunna da dama a duniya da ƙaunarsu. Allah ya zayyana mutane da dama da ikon Allah mutunta su da musu fatan alkhairi saboda alamomin alkhairi da ake gani tare da su. Baya ga wannan kuma a wani janibi sai aka samu wasu jama'a daga cikin kafirai Western Wall ba su da target a duniya sai bata su a idan ƴan uwansu musulmai, hatta ma idan kafiran ta bangaren jingina musu abin da ba su aikata ba.
Okay, so you've had it. Let me go first to you, Barrister. We spoke about this last week, and we know that when we're talking, so one of the good things about us here is that we're talking from an academic perspective. We're not talking from a bit of politics. This might be our friend, and yet we're still going to make our views well known on this kind of things. We'll make our views well known, So what is your view on this? Because a lot of people are not happy with the presidency on this, because this is a government that actually, is actually one of the tenets of this government, that they're fighting corruption, fighting economy, fighting corruption, going to grow the economy and terrorism. And now a member of the cabinet actually shown interest and sympathy for terrorist group. Now, that is not my area of concern because I'm not interested in that politics. What I'm interested in is DSS, the security team. How come the security team can clear an individual who have made such statements? What is your view on this? Because it's just the fact is, if you ask me, I would say that there are so many people now, so many Nigerians that will be wondering, all those politicians there, how many of them are a security risk? That is the question I want you to answer. And this is not whether the person is APC or PDP. Do you think our security services are doing enough? Then I go to Prof. Very quick, briefly, sir.
I'm shocked with what I heard. I think I've seen a couple of videos of what this guy said in recent past regarding. I think the problem with some of these guys is, I think if you remember, I said something last time here about what Dr. Chuba Okadibu said of blessed memory. He said if your education does not it says that if despite your education you can still not see beyond your ethnic or religious beliefs, then your education is a waste. I'm a Christian, no doubt about it, and I believe in my faith. But then my faith is a personal issue between me and my Creator. End of story. You see, that is point number one. Point number two is you ask a very vital question now, that people before you are appointed into government, there has to be some form of vetting being done. How the hell this guy passed that vetting beats me. Because for someone who, now it's not just, you only showed us one video, but I've seen about 4 or 5 different videos where he's been saying the same thing over and over again, which from all intents and purposes means that is his thought process. So, be that as it may, he's now he's not only been appointed, but he's been appointed into a very sensitive position within the government that is holding the data of every single Nigerian on earth. That is what I find very shocking. And the fact, again, I think this week when they had their fake meeting, I think Lai Mohammed came out when he was being asked if his issue was discussed at the fake meeting. They said no. That again shocked me. I won't lie to you. I'm a strong supporter of Buhari and this government, but this shocks me. I won't lie to you, because there's just no way anybody can paper on it, because the views he's holding are very strong views, which again begins to put questions into my mind now. That could that be the reason why, despite the initial gains that this government had over Boko Haram, there now seem to be a resurgence? Because when things like this happen, a lot of questions will come into people's minds, and you begin to ask. Because there's no gainsaying the fact that when this government came in, by the time they came in, Boko Haram was controlling about 17 local governments. They even had their flag hoisted on all of those local governments. They were even collecting taxes from people. But this government came in and rooted them out of those 17 local governments. But all of a sudden now, we are now seeing a resurgence of this Boko Haram. And here is somebody who is a minister in that same government, who is now being touted now as being their supporter before he became a minister. Some people are arguing in his case now to say he's no longer holding that notion anymore. How do we know that? How do we know that? You see, it leaves a very bitter taste in my mouth. I must confess. It leaves a very, very big, because the dissent in that thought this government should have done would be to ask him to step aside. Set up your own investigation to find out, does he still hold that notion? If he does not hold that notion, then you can bring him back into the government. At least that would be a face-saving measure for this government. For them to completely ignore all the outcry that's going on over this issue, for me, it doesn't sit well with me.
Okay, let me bring in Prof. And Prof, I want you to just tell me yes or no whether you believe that this matter, because I want you to say something else on the same matter. But I want you to just tell me yes or no. Do you believe that this matter has been handled properly, especially the fact that this gentleman has said a lot of things, about, I know, let's be honest, let's say that there's actually a bounty, a fatwa on him currently by Boko Haram because they don't like him anymore and all those things. But yes or no, do you think that DSS have done a good job on security clearance? Because based on this, I can say that there might be people that are actually against Nigerian progress, that are a serious security risk, and if they could not, because all these politicians, some of them have all this DSS, EFCC saying the whole billion, they do this, and yet DSS seems to be clearing them. Yes or no, do you think DSS have done a good job on security clearance of politicians for sensitive positions? Yes or no? And I want to play a video so that you can comment fully on it.
Thank you for having me. It's going to be a bit very tight one to go for yes or nay for this very on this very issue.
Okay, then if you can't do that, then hold on, watch this video and then make a comment on this video, because I think that might help you to be able to give us your view on it, sir. Just watch this video and let me know what you think about it.
The only person who can handle that office with the decision of President Buhari to side with Mr. Pantami. Are you not worried of the message the presidency might be passing to the world on terrorism, issues relating to religious extremism? Are the views that are growing that this government just gave a tacit support to such?
I'm saying to those people who stand in criticism of this position of a man who has said he had wronged himself, he had wronged society, has apologized and changed, and they are not willing to forgive him to move on. They are the ones who are the problem. They are the ones who are deeply intolerant and who are telling the world that yes, in this country we also have a set of people who don't forgive, who don't want to move in. And so therefore they are a problem to the society.
So we should take it tonight that the presidency is saying that Mr. Pantami his position will not be reviewed, no matter what the agitations from Nigerians are bothered about our reputation.
I'm going to be coming to Prof now on this issue, because I think it's now time to let Prof speak on this issue. I hope Prof is ready.
Tonight, isn't it?
Please allow me to stay on my brief. I speak for the president when he speaks.
He said he will speak for the president when he speaks, but he said anybody that is unwilling to overlook the action of this man, which will include me and Barrister Adebola, your very good friend, that we are unforgiving. We are the one that are the problem of Nigeria. So any APC, any PDP man that says that we must not overlook this issue. You remember, you are a man that have lived in Europe all of your life, and you know that it's not a matter of whether you are a friend of the person or best friend. When a person commits such an atrocity, and even Barrister Adebola have made it clear that once you have done something like this, then you are in a serious problem. What is your view on this? Just give us 2 or 3 minutes, and then give us 1 minute, and then I'll pass over to Barrister. Go on, sir. Prof.
Thank you very much. It's a fantastic question. Basically, let me firstly, as we have it, Yoruba Lounge. There's a saying in Yoruba. They said, "Afi etesile ampa anle lapa eteni téèyàn bá kíyèsí ó mẹ́mìí lọ làpálàpá ní ara ìdọ̀tí díẹ̀ tó bá ojú ara ni." I will try to my possible best to translate this into English for our English viewers. Basically, it's like nothing but distraction from the main problem Nigeria is facing at the moment. When I say the major problem, we have banditry nearly all over the country. There's no clear solution to this problem as we speak. Boko Haram, they are still raising their havoc. There's ISWAP on the other end. And now, West Africa, whatever happened in the West Africa will have a ripple effect on Nigeria. Chadian President, President Idris Deby, has just been, some say, well, it's Paloku, some say it's assassination, some say it has an international correlation to the murder. We don't know what it is. And this I see as a major problem we supposed to focus on. When we are talking about what this man has done, I believe, okay, well, maybe in the Western context, when you are age 40, you're supposed to be capable and reliable and matured enough what to say and what not to say, and even how to carry yourself. These videos, I don't see any of them that are of recent time. Well, I'm not condoning any shape or form to what he might have subscribed to in the past, but we are talking now. What has that got to do with it? We're having issues, serious issues in Nigeria as we speak. They're talking about one man, a minister for communication and the rest of it. So I believe it's nothing but distraction. Let's keep focus how to get our house in order. Security of Nigeria is sacrosanct, is everyone's business. It's not just Mr. President's business. I believe every single individual, everybody, both men and women, old and young, should do something about what we are facing today, the crisis, banditry, kidnapping. We are not talking about this. They are talking about one man, communication minister, what he has said before, before he came. Okay, well, you asked the question of the DSS, did they vet him? Yes, they must have done. Maybe they don't do their due diligence. Maybe it's not one of the criteria they need to check about what he has said, what he might have said in the past before during the vetting process. So as a matter of fact, one thing I want us to do is to stay focused, not to get distracted. I believe this issue is nothing but distraction from the main issues that is so germane in Nigeria of today. Thank you.
Okay, let me go back to Barrister. Barrister. Now you've had Prof. I think I'm of your view because we are lawyers. We don't think like Prof. Prof is a politician. That's her. Left to me, I believe this calls for a review, a national review, an independent person to review the security agents' way of, because whether I support, now everybody knows that I love Buhari, and yet I will still criticize him when he gets things wrong. And that is what I know you said many times, that you are not shy of saying that this thing is wrong. Do you think this calls for a review of security clearance? How security clearance is done for politicians? Because if we are having people in sensitive positions handling sensitive materials, and the DSS cannot even find out a normal video of what they have said that is in the public domain, are the DSS doing their work? Is Nigerian police doing their work? And even after this whole incident, nobody has said, oh, we're going to review. We're not saying, okay, we're not saying remove him from office. He might have said that. We know now that Boko Haram they are ready to kill him if they find him. So we're not saying that he said that now. We're not saying we know his mind. Who knows the heart of man except God himself? That's what the Bible says, and we are Christians. We believe in that. Now we believe in forgiveness. But it's hypocritical for somebody to say that if you and me disagree with the fact that this guy should not be in office, even though we might be APC, we might be PDP, that we are not lovers of Nigeria. I think that is just stretching it. But I want to ask you, sir, And in very simple terms, do you believe there is time that the presidency should actually set up a presidential committee, to a presidential team, independent team, to look at security vetting of politicians holding sensitive materials, so that at least we know that from henceforth, even at least from tomorrow, we know that this will never happen again. A sympathizer, because that's part of the reasons why the Americans refuse to give us weapons. That's part of the reason why many people, many organizations, many countries refuse to give us information, because they said there are Boko Haram sympathizers within government. And that's the reason why the President Buhari, with all the good work he's doing, have not been able to get rid of these things. We heard that even the former chief of army staffs have been accused of siphoning money, and they are not being investigated. The president said, my hands are clean. Go and investigate them. But they are sabotaging his government from within. And if we are saying that they are sabotaging his government, are we his enemy or are we against him? Speak, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think for me, what I find distasteful,
yes, sir,
in this issue is the fact that he was in support of Boko Haram. He said it in Hausa, and I understood exactly what he said. So I don't care if it's 10 years, 20 years ago. If you say you are in support of Boko Haram and you are part of this government, and initially when this government came in, Boko Haram was almost annihilated, and all of a sudden now they have an insurgence, and you are part of that government. Hello? That's why I said a lot of questions are beginning to come up in my head now. Because we have, before now, we have been suspecting that there are some fifth columnists within the government. Because don't forget, I think I quoted it here before, that late Abacha once said that if there's an insurgency in a country, and if it lasts more than 24 hours, he said somebody in the government has a hand in it.
You said so. Yeah.
He said so.
You said, you even reminded us. Yes.
Yeah, that was why for me, when as soon as I had all those videos that he came out with, I'm like, hello? So to answer your question, I think, yes, there's a need to review the vetting process. Perhaps like Prof said, maybe that was not part of the terms of reference for the vetting by the DSS. I would expect, if that is not part of it, then I would expect that to be part of it now. Because we cannot afford to continue to have what we're having in this country going on. And you see, yes, it may be a case of witch hunting. I'm not doubting that. But the point is, if you don't want people to haunt you, don't become a witch. It's as simple as that. And if that man has any honor, the fact that the country is going through a lot now that has to do with the same group that he said he was in support of, I don't care if it's 20 years ago. If he has any honor, this is time for him to say, I want to recuse myself. Allow the government to do due diligence. And if he's found not to be on the same on the same page as what he did at that time, he can come. Because I saw an interview on Channels TV, because I did not just say what I said earlier on for fun. 2 or 3 days ago, he was invited to Channels TV. He did not come. He sent somebody else, and that guy was more or less like bamboozling everybody, by trying to make excuses and all that, saying it was so many years. But the other guy who was at the opposite end, now calculated the man's years when he said the last one, that the man was about 32 or 33 years old, which means he was even older than him talking. So for me, it's hard to argue that somebody who over the years, about 4, 5 to 10 years, has been speaking about the same thing consistently up to the age of 30 something. It is hard for me to believe that at 50 he's no longer that person. It's very hard, unless he can show me evidence that he's no longer that person. And as far as I'm concerned, the man has not shown us any evidence so far that he's not that same person. And what gets me is the fact that he is holding a very sensitive position in government that has to do with people's data. If it's just an, I don't know, maybe a special advisor to the president, I wouldn't bother, because that is kitchen cabinet with the president. They can do whatever they like there. But the fact that he's a minister and he's in charge of people's data, and he is known to have this extremist. People can hold whatever view they want. That is their fundamental human right. But when that view is now seen as a view that impedes on other people's rights to life, because he said so many dangerous things that I cannot begin to repeat here, because I took my time to listen to all those videos. It beggars believe that kind of person is in this government. Yes, it may be a distraction by some people, fine. But then, as far as I'm concerned, I think this government can do without that kind of distraction. And
thank you, sir.
If the government does not invite him into this government, if it's not in this government, if that issue came up, it's just going to be part of the news that everybody will just wave off. But the reason that it becomes a news now is because it's part of this government and it's holding a sensitive position, which I think this government should at least. You see, because this government is doing something. Like I said, I'm a downright supporter of Buhari till he leaves office. But certain things are happening now that's leaving very bitter taste in the mouth, which I don't subscribe to. It has to be said.
Thank you, sir. And I'm going to bring Prof in now, because Prof, I have to put you in a difficult. You are my brother, I'm going to go for you. I'm going to go for you now. This gentleman, I don't know if you've watched his 52 minutes. I'm telling you so you can know. His 52-minute session in the House of Senate when he was being questioned about him becoming a minister. And he said that more than 2,000 students have gone under him, And so you just ask them to give you few seconds, you'll be finished. Tell them to give you few minutes, please, and you'll be finished with us. So they should please forgive us. Just give us 1-2 minutes with you, and we'll settle, please. We're alive. So please, they should give you a few minutes, please, and we'll yeah. So, Prof, let me just answer this question, and then I'll let you go. He said clearly that more than 2,000 people have gone through him, and he has so many people in Saudi Arabia and the other places. Are you confident that during that period he has not radicalized a lot of people who might not be a threat to the Nigerian state as we speak? Please speak on that, sir. Do you think he has not radicalized people during those periods that he was a teacher? Because that was the time. Please speak quickly, and then I'll release you, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you once again. Basically, I'm not really privy to the information about this gentleman,
okay.
Minister for Communication Pantami, I guess if I get his name right. But one thing I'm privy to is what has been going on, not just only on social media, on the mainstream media, about the utterances, and he's been holding classes, I believe, religious training classes, I should call it. Really, again, if it's to be savage, I don't think no one is indispensable. We are in a very critical juncture, or a very, very critical and sensitive time. And the last thing we need now is this bad publicity, PR. So I don't believe we have loads of people that are capable or competent enough to carry out this job. I've read some saying, okay, well, it's so easy. It's based on falsification of one minister. That's the reason why the minister was removed, and so on and so forth. Even the man before him, which happened to be a legal practitioner before that, but all in the name of he doesn't have correct credentials as per clearance for NYSC, Nigerian National Youth Corps, I believe. So I believe no one is indispensable. The last thing the administration need now is the bad publicity or PR or anything to slow us down on this very trajectory of fighting Boko Haram. All I was, because as you made the introduction, then you were saying something about Afghanistan, which I was thinking this was about 20, 30 years ago when this man must have been in secondary school or grammar school or high school or something like this. But again, this is something of recent. With Boko Haram, I believe, is no. It would be so naive and stupid of anyone in any on any circumstance saying, well, I condone or I sympathize with the people that doesn't discriminate whether you are northerner or southerner, you are Yoruba or Igbo, or you are Muslim or Christian, you are whatever you said you are, they're just ready to blow you into pieces. So as a matter of fact, if that used to be his belief, I guess it's a time for him even to make it easy for this administration to just step aside, for the sake of, the good work this administration has done so far or is trying to do. So that's my take. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. I'm going to bring Barrister in. And the reason I'm bringing Barrister in is because many people might not know. I've actually taken my time to go and check this guy out, and I went to check him out to check out his views, to look at some of the things he has said in the past. And I was surprised when I saw his profile, I saw the things he's done. And during the conversation when he was in the house, he actually said that he studied in the UK, he got his PhD in the UK, and it was during that, it was after that time that he made this statement. He said he is in support of Taliban and all those stuff. So this is a guy that might even have been radicalized in the UK. We don't even know. So what I'm saying is that, this is an educated man who got his PhD in the UK. He did not make that statement when he was in secondary school, sir. And he did not make that statement when he was going through university. He made that statement as an adult, as a lecturer who had access to a lot of people, vulnerable individuals, and God knows what he has said and done. And what kind of, because if he had come out publicly now, go to a national newspaper, a national paper, like you said, I said it, I'm wrong. He just said it to a selected group of people. In fact, the president could have just suspended him a bit, do a due diligence and say, we have now checked his record, check everything, and we see that, oh no, as of now, he's clean, and then put him back. That would have been, but to side him continuously doesn't speak well. Prof, Barrister, have your last 30 seconds on this, and then we call it a day, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I think I'm just happy that Prof made some started, because it looks like maybe it was after my own input that Prof got the real gist of, because initially he was of the opinion that what he said was when he was in secondary school and all that.
Yeah.
I think it was when I started pointing out that no, he said it in his 30s. That is when Prof got the gist of the whole thing, which is a good thing. However, what I just need to briefly to say is this. I think Prof will bear me witness on this. On so many fora where I've had cause to discuss with people in government, I have always made it clear to them that they have two serious fundamental problems that they've had from day one and is still persistent to today, which is information management and information dissemination. They don't know how to manage information. More or less what they're doing is just doing catch-up. This issue about this man would have been better managed by a government who has a good grasp of information management. As soon as the matter came up, there should have been a press conference, either by him, by a presidential fiat, to say, go out and address a press conference and put this matter, nip it in the bud. And that would have, just like we said now, all he has to say is, look, I made those comments when I didn't know any better. Now I know better. Please, can we let that would have quelled the whole thing. But what we get from him is his acolytes coming out to justify what he said and what he didn't say. And that is what is fueling the issue now. And that is why people who are not interested in the issue before are now getting interested in it, and they're now stoking the fire. So that's why I said this government is always guilty of information management. If they had managed it well at the beginning, that would have quelled the matter. And another thing that came out from the channels TV that interview that I said I watched, where he refused to come and said his friend, was the guy at the opposite end made a startling revelation. He said he recently had a program, a federal government program, where the only TV channel that he gave the right to beam it live, was an Islamic TV. And the guy said that is likened to the TB Joshua channel, Emmanuel channel. But how can you, as a federal government minister, be doing a federal government program and you give it to an Islamic TV when we have NTA, we have other mainstream, and none of them was if other TV were invited, that it wouldn't have been an issue. But the fact that that was the only TV station that he used, for me, if it's that is why I don't believe that he's changed. Because I don't have an issue that he used a TV station. The issue I have with that is that is the only TV station that he used. Why would that be? This is a federal government project you are trying to promote. And we have a federal government TV station called NTA. We have other mainstream TV. You did not invite any of them. I mean, the universe will say, I'm sure you understand what I mean by that. So these are the issues that I'm finding very, very uncomfortable, to justify in any way. Because whether we like it or not, I believe all the three of us here, we are Buharis to the core. But when issues like this come up, for me, come on. And this is one of the things that, for me, I find distasteful in this government. Because when things are going like this, I expect the government to be on the ball, nip it, because whether we like it or not, because one of the things I was going to ask Jagaban this afternoon was the fact that because he was pivotal into dragging PDP out of government after 16 years, 2015, a lot of people have it in him, and they are using his hatred and their hatred for PNB now to foment trouble in the country. They get the point towards making APC not electable in 2023. That is their right for them to do that. But what I don't find easy is, why is it that this government, after 6 years in government, we still don't have a way of quelling all this crap? Every time we hear people tell us, I will know who was. Don't tell me you know who was involved. Bring them out. Let the law take its course on them. That is when I know you know what you're doing. But you just coming out to tell me we know who was involved. That's complete. I don't want to use a swear word here because it's beginning to get to me now. Because my fear now is I don't want us to wake up 2023 and just find out that PDP has gone into the government, into Aso Villa through the back door. Because there are too many own goals now being scored, which I don't like. So that is why, for me, I would rather speak the truth to the corridors of power now, for them to begin to have a rethink. Because I think it is now time for us to begin to rethink seriously about this. Government has done a lot. Everybody knows that. But again, because of their poor information management, people don't seem to be aware of all they are doing. It is people like you and me who are not part of the government, who are propagating their good programs. We are the ones facing the fire from the paid agents of PDP who are social media marauders. Whereas there are some people in government who are paid every month to do just that, and they are doing nothing. I've said this so many times to people in power, and I'm getting sick of it now. Seriously. I'm getting sick of it now. PDP is not in power, but they have people on social media that they are being paid every month. All they do is throw out their false news, fake news, and what have you. And what does this government have? They're just sitting pretty as if nothing is happening. We are the ones on the field. We are the soldiers, and we see what's going on. And we are the ones now, trying to polish tell the people that this is part of what you are seeing, because now it is the little gaps from the government that people are seeing. The humongous achievement of this government is being buried under the sand, and they don't seem to know how to change the narratives, and that is what is getting to me now. Seriously, so I don't know. I just leave the road for. I leave the space for other people to come in.
Thank you so much, Prof. I think you said it all, sir. Barrister, you've actually hit the ball on the nail, because we are now in a situation where we government need to do the right thing, and you've hit it on the nail. You've said it all, and this is exactly what we need to say. The bottom line is that government need to do what is right, and government is not doing what is right. That's why we're in all this crisis. As we speak right now, three of the students, they were kidnapped or adopted from a private university in Kaduna have been found dead. Government have not really done. As we speak, we've not had, even though kidnapping have happened in 3 schools over a period of 6 months, there have not been a single policy to say this is how we're going to do it. There have not been documentation about how you should keep school. Everything seems to be bad, and it's not fair. It's not fair on the Nigerian people who believe in this government. It's not fair that people just sit on their bum, collect their money on a monthly basis, and not actually care. They believe once they're in power, they can just continue to do what they are doing. We've done more than 1 hour now, so we have to go. But we're back on Tuesday, and when we're back on Tuesday, we shall continue on this same topic on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Join us, when we shall look at this issue more, because we believe that this issue cannot go away. The brutalization of police officers and security agents should not be permitted in Nigeria. So let me use this time to thank Barrister Adebola for giving us his time again. Always ready, always here for us. We thank you. Let me also use this opportunity to thank my friend, my brother, Professor Ali Alahu, for giving us this time, and even with all the plan and agenda of the electricity company to disrupt these activities, he still remains strong. Please tell them in Abuja that we are live and we are doing this, and nothing can stop us, on this matter. So before I go, because you just have to forgive me, I have to just play that video as we go, and I want you to enjoy it. Dance to that song, and let's make it beautiful, because I like the fact that there is a counter narrative against Boko Haram, because they are telling you Boko Haram does not represent us, and you could see them laughing with their guns in their hands, and that is the song we need to make. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. We really love you, and we look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Like this page, share this page.
Allah is great, they keep person. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, they keep person. They use Allah, they keep